just see how long we fucking get. Let's just go. It's still got It's still got 1 bar of battery on there. We might be able to pull it off. So you didn't expect to start there, I suppose, but it's episode something.
4.
Number 4 of Joint Break.
Joint break.
We're here with Romy Wood.
Romy.
That's
Greetings.
your Facebook name, at least. Is
Indeed,
that?
and that is my name.
I was like, some people
I'm one of the rare people that don't have like MC Twisty Face or
one of those strange ICP sorts of names. Is this somebody's weed that they need? That's your rosin. Okay.
It's a container for the rosin.
So, this... I didn't mean for that to be like a shut up. So, back to the... There's no focus here. We got
1 line of battery.
We've smoked all sorts of stuff
Notch.
before we started this. We're what?
On 1 notch of battery. Notch. That's the word I'm going with.
Now this
is like the Blair Witch Project of podcasts right
Yes.
now. If you're hearing this may be the last time we talk.
All right, good group work, everybody. This is going to be an unusual episode because we don't have any pizza, so there won't be any like the usual every 2-minute pizza breaks where we're chewing up food. But maybe we do have M&Ms and some Starbursts.
There might be
always
enough
eating
M&Ms.
snacks. I tried to put an end to us eating food during the podcast because you can hear all of it. Like the bags crinkling and the chewing and swallowing and breathing heavily through your nose and stuff.
I think but that makes it real.
That's true.
It's not the sterile.
This is the joint
Yeah.
break.
Yes, the idea of not doing that was not entertained for a second by anyone else involved, so I just embraced it. We're just eating.
I'm pretty sure that's how this episode started, was the crinkling of an M&M bag.
I feel that had as much chance as carrying as maybe not smoking weed prior to recording.
Who wants to do that?
Podcasts.
Nobody doesn't want to not smoke weed.
Yeah, I used to have a podcast I would do called In the Couch where I would get comics high and then ask them about... The idea was that they would tell stories about getting high as teenagers, and I found out like 3 episodes in, most people would respond, "Oh, well, I didn't smoke weed for the first time till I was 23." And I'd be like, didn't I fucking mention in the Facebook message what this podcast was about?
Well, if you revive it, I have some 14-year-old Romy stories for you.
For sure. I would like to bring it back. That's what we ended up calling our like production
Entertainment.
Yeah, our entertainment group. I forgot that my roommate would be coming home during this recording. This is going to be part of it. Oh well. Hello. We're recording a podcast. My roommate Shorty has come in with her wonderful pit bull Ramona.
I've only
Thank
seen
you for the
Ramona.
narration.
Say hi to the people in the future.
Oh, hello, the people of the future.
I've only seen
They
the
dress
dog on the
differently
interwebs.
Ramona's an
the
awesome
same
fucking
thing.
dog.
And thirsty.
She has a
Indeed.
lesbian lover now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She had
it's
a
intense. They,
great
like,
doggy date
wrestled,
today.
And then they stared into each other's eyes. It was,
Nice.
Yeah.
Any no like aggression or anything with that other
No,
dog?
she
Sweet.
kept trying to eat her leg, but she was okay
It was just a fun
with
time
it.
thing.
The other dog is really submissive.
In
It's just
her
like-
defense, she is delicious.
Different species. We can't really judge it, you know. So, we haven't talked about. The point of this podcast. So that's from several minutes back. Was I was going to say. So this podcast is about work stories
Okay.
and like weird shit. I said like. One reason I thought you might be good at this is because you have been around the state, I'm guessing, doing cannabis sales, and that you also... When did you move out of North Carolina?
2013.
Gotcha. So anybody that spent any of their working years in the South probably has at least some weird stories about customers or bosses or some shit like that. Not to put too much pressure on you. It's not all about that.
What have you done? Yeah.
Give us your intent. This is a job interview. Actually.
Oh,
That's
cool.
what people don't realize about this.
It's undercover interview. You show up to smoke some weed, hang with friends, record a podcast.
What is this
Pet
joint,
some
by the
dog.
way?
That's that Sour Patch.
Oh, still doing the Sour Patch. All right.
But prior to Weed Life, I was in radio.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I hosted and was like program music manager kind of stuff of scheduling music and the talent to be on the air and that sort of thing before deregulation and Clear Channel and all that came up and just said, oh, you know what? Computers can do all this shit.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Back when there actually was
And I was
some
like, they know. God damn it.
Oh, so that was in Fayetteville?
Yeah, and then around the southeast, I worked in Louisville, Knoxville, Columbia briefly. Had a cup of coffee in Columbia. Had brunch in Knoxville. Worked for about a year in Louisville, and then most of it was Fayetteville, though.
What was the, what kind of radio station was it?
All of them. I mean, it was like 20 years, so.
Oh.
You have a very strong radio voice.
So you were like a DJ that talked on the radio, right?
Yeah,
So
I started at like, I guess I was 18, 19. At an oldies station. It was the best of the 60s, 70s, 80s, and today.
Oldies.
You try
from
putting that on a fucking
40-year time span. We've got a big catalog.
We just overbought.
The best from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 80th century. Future music.
There was a voiceover guy that did a liner on some station. It was like the best of the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and the extra long 120s.
So I'm hoping and guessing that
And wishing. And
praying.
I'm hoping that you had different personalities for your different radio stations you worked at. So like you had your oldies voice and you were like, it's Ramblin' Romy coming at you. It's Hot Rod.
I was never Romy. That was the thing. I was Dave Stone or Davis was the thing. Dave Letterman, and then Stone was an old name of some oldies TV show on Nick at Night.
So you got to come up with like a radio stage name.
Yeah.
You said Dave Stone?
Yeah.
I'll try to find that in the Internet Archives later.
Yeah. Good
See if we
luck.
can find a Dave Stone.
I feel like we can.
Yeah, I did all the formats over time. Like, I'm responsible for Britney Spears. Sorry, not really. It was entertaining, if nothing else. I remember like all the that whole slasher wrist movement of the late '90s. Your Sarah McLachlan's, your Tori Amos's. I worked at one of those stations.
I gotcha. I thought you were calling so just the like post grunge stuff.
The stuff that was more palatable to the
Lilith
in-office. Very Lilith Fair. That would have been it. We wrote a liner like, you thought that was depressing.
So at the oldies station, Dave Stone.
Yeah.
Did you have for real? Did you change your voice based off of which station you worked at? Like when you were talking over the air, did that?
Yeah, I mean, you would have different energies depending on I did.
So your light jazz era.
Hey, Kenson.
It's Dave Stone coming at you from underground.
Smooth as a stone.
Cool as a stone. It's Dave Stone. Just like the corniest shit.
My last gig, they ended up calling me Stoney at a classic rock station.
All right.
Yeah.
And my boss is like, what do you think about going by Stoney? I'm like, well,
whatever.
I can totally do. I would be in character often. I said, but it's like a real conservative town. It's a military town and all that shit. So it's like, what about the audience? Said, well, people who get it will get it, and people who don't, know.
Those military people like to cut loose for sure, though. I was hanging out in I think Norfolk, Virginia one time, and it was like Fleet Week, and me and my friend Rose got off in an elevator in a hotel, and as the doors opened, there were two Marines, I guess they were sailors, but they were too big to be sailors. I don't know. I feel like they wouldn't fit through boat doors.
What else is there to do on a boat but to get big?
I don't know. They're too big to fit through the doors. I've been on those boats when I was a Boy Scout. I think these guys were Marines. But anyway, one of them had the other pinned on the ground and had him in a headlock.
Tiny hatches.
So this one dude had the other dude on the ground and he had him in a headlock. And the dude on the ground just kept repeating, I just want to go to my fucking room, bro, let me up. And the other guy kept going, this isn't our hotel, you fucking idiot. and over again, like 10 times. And then we're like just standing there watching this happen, and then the guy that's got the other guy held down, he's like, you can go to your room, bro, everything's fine. I was like, oh, I know you got it under control. That guy just kept, just let me go to my room, bro.
It's entertaining. I get you. You got it under control.
The fucking place was crazy with all those military people in one place.
The wrong fucking hotel.
I imagine they like to do drugs as
great.
well.
Oh yeah, just not ones that stay in your system longer than a weekend.
So let's see. After there was the oldie station. You had classic rock.
I did a top 40. I did some.
The top 40 is just kind of, that's like,
A little upbeat.
they're not even trying to have a personality. Really.
No, you're just saying whatever you can say in 7 seconds, and
7 seconds.
Oops, I did it again.
and now here's the other thing. I do a part-time gig now. I work at the Wolf here in town on Saturday mornings, because I was going to give up on weed last August.
Like give up smoking on it? Or smoking on it.
Oh, no. See, that's the thing. I gotten to the point with the job market and then the jobs I was getting. I ended up with this edible company that was not great. And just kind of made me sour on that whole experience. And
Yeah.
I'd given it like a couple of years, and it's like, well, I need to go back to paychecks and shit like that.
For sure.
And so I called the guy over at the radio station here in town. I was like, hey, I auditioned for something, ended up doing it. So I'm there on Saturday mornings, and I got the gig I got now like a month later, and I'm like, really not liking getting up at 5 a.m. on Saturday, but
Still
you gave me a chance, so I feel kind of like, that obligation of doing it. So
yeah, that's like me working at the new shop that I'm at, getting up at 5 a.m. to be there for the 6:30 opening shift. And I just remind myself, well, at least I got this much better job than I had before. And what I always remind myself of is that it's not that construction job that I had for 1 week back in 2014.
Yeah.
all right.
I do that with my windmill job.
Because I also had to get up at 5 in the morning for that.
Yeah.
And would go work with two incredibly racist dudes who would say shit to me like, "When's the last time you got some pussy?" And I'd be like, I don't want to talk about this.
Yo, bro.
They would tell me stories that were just impossible.
Oh, yeah.
There's no such thing as the Alabama crab dangle.
Oh, Christ. They'd be like, most women I ever had in one day, 5 women, slept with 5 women in one day. I was like, dude, I don't even want to look at you right now. There's no way 5 women slept with you. I didn't want to look at him because I was ashamed of him. I meant he was that,
Were you a part of a
pleasant.
sleep study? You had that apnea?
Your mom and your aunt just called you? What the fuck?
It was nap time at daycare? How far back we going, bro?
Man, that shit. I would show up to that it was only 1 week, and at the end of it, my brother called me, and he was like, let me buy you dinner to celebrate you getting through your first week of construction, because it was going to be the whole summer I was going to work it, and I was getting paid better than I was for the office job that I had, which, looking back on it, how?
Makes sense.
I should have pushed my dad for more money for that office job if they were paying me more to do bullshit on a construction site, just being a general
a gopher kind of.
yeah, I had no specialty skills at all. So show up on the first fucking day.
Anything, man.
10-hour days. I would for real, every single day of the experience had panic attacks and would have to go into the porta potty so nobody would see me freaking out. You ever had to do deep breathing exercises in a goddamn porta potty to get your shit together? No pun intended. I'm sitting there on this because the dudes I worked with were awful. Everybody around us on the construction site was awful. I had no clue what I was doing, and they would do stuff like leave me with 20 doors and a bunch of hinges and a screw gun and be like, have all these up by the time we get back, and then just walk away. And when they came back, obviously you're not. When I told my dad that, he's like, 3 people are supposed to fucking put up a door, not 1. And I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. And they're just hazing me for the whole fucking week. At one point, not all of it was their fault though. At one point, they came back and I hadn't gotten anything done, and one of my coworkers looked at my screw gun and he was like, "You got it on reverse, you dumb shit." I was like, "That's why it's not going in the wall." Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, I couldn't work construction either. I did once spray out a smokestack with a fire hose while wearing a trash bag. Did I ever tell you about that?
Nice.
So I worked at this wood mill place with a dude who looked like one of the Nasty Boys from. Do you remember the Nasty Boys from WWF?
For real?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Like straight up, the first time I saw him, I was like, "Woo, buddy, yeah!" And like, and then I worked with this other kid from my hometown.
Am I remembering the Nasty Boys kind of looked like if okay, I was gonna say like lesbian sisters.
Yeah. But like, they grew up in my hometown.
One of them's really good at pool. And
Cagney and
really
Lacey.
One's a hunter.
Bowling. The bowling one's good at hunting.
Yes. Anything that requires something getting knocked down.
Yeah. None of this is offensive. Don't worry, listeners.
But yeah, it was a wood mill kind of place, and they made like wood pellets. And so they had all these machines always doing fucking bullshit with wood. I didn't really get too into it. I was only there for a month, but they had these smokestacks.
Just doing bullshit with wood.
And I still don't know. I don't know if this was an actual thing we had to do or if these assholes were just fucking making me do weird fucking shit because I didn't like them and they didn't like me.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to go in there and I was wearing a fucking trash bag on my fucking head. My entire body is covered in a giant fucking like 30-gallon trash bag. Back then I was like 250. So I'm a big dude in a trash bag with a fucking fire hose.
We've all had an overweight phase, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down 100 since moving
I
here.
call Mark from his fat phase. It's Thick Mork. So THICC Thick Mork.
M-A-O-R-C-K.
M-O. Yeah,
Wait,
M-O-A-R.
Yeah, M-O-A.
M-O-A-R-C-K. Thick Mork. So, if you ever hear me reference that. The biggest I ever was, I think, was 235, but like when I was like 5'11", it was definitely, I don't know. It was, my doctor kept being like, "You know you're overweight," and I was like, "No, I'm not." He's like, "Yeah, you're like 45 pounds."
He's like, "Listen, fat ass."
Which one of us went to medical school? I'm gonna give you a hint.
I really didn't
It's
think of
this
myself.
guy.
I was like, "Well, I'm like a football player."
So I'm inside the smokestack and I'm spraying the fucking fire hose and those fucking, because in a smokestack, all the fucking shit you burn up, it just sticks to the side of the fucking stack. Like it's like a giant chimney, basically.
Yeah.
And so when you spray it, that shit just falls down. That's why I'm wearing the trash bag. But it's like these giant fucking chunks that weigh like pounds, and they're hitting me and
You're gonna
shit.
die from doing this shit.
I would have loved that, honestly, at that point. If I had fucking gotten hit in the head and just knocked me out cold.
No, I mean
good.
when you're like 63, you're gonna get cancer.
Oh yeah, sawdust definitely gives you cancer.
Sorry.
I didn't do the mask or the goggles either because I was like, either fucking way, I'm gonna die from this job. I don't give a shit. Yeah, that was fun.
I used to just stand in a smokestack and just spray water.
And I've had the Nasty Boys as my background on my phone for like a month because I knew I was gonna have to tell this story eventually.
I'm sure the food that you gave out as samples at Costco also gave people cancer, so it's fine. All your jobs.
Hey, Ortega makes some great fucking taquitos. Okay,
We'll
how
find
dare
out in
you?
15
How dare
years
you?
that dabs like destroy your lungs and you'll all be fucked. Oh, your lungs liquefy after 15 years of dabbing.
Wait, what?
It'll be some shit like
It
that.
just becomes solid dab oil inside of your lungs.
I worked in a cotton mill, a screen printing factory, in an auto repair joint. So I've been exposed to asbestos and things that I'm pretty sure that they've banned since I started working with them.
Yeah. And a bunch of people from my dad's side of the family died of like the same sorts of cancer, and my dad was like, it's probably because they used to drink well water and the houses were built on top of an old landfill. And I was like, yeah, that's probably it.
Think?
That's probably it. So the water's running through old trash and they were pulling it up. God damn. That's the sort of shit that like...
Drinking cancer.
God damn. So that's how, even up in the mountains, that's how... people are treated, I guess. Just like the poor people. It's like, can't poor people even way up in the mountains get fucking decent land?
Sorry.
No.
You can't even get
Thank
normal
you.
They
cancer.
weren't way up in the mountains, but they were,
Hillbillies.
whatever. It's frustrating. Who's this going to?
I
This
don't
way.
even know. I think
Planet.
I'm solid.
Mark's
for
got a
minute.
pretty great sweater on right now. Sweatshirt, not sweater.
It's just a crew neck.
It's just a crew neck, he said.
If I was wearing
think it's
khakis
great.
right now, I would work. It would look like I worked at Target. And sometimes I feel like I do.
Okay, so this
If I had
is...
whiter teeth, I'd look like a judge on American Idol. I am solid. Thank you.
So... you said that you work at you do a radio thing at like the Wolf now. Is that what it's
The
Yeah,
called?
yeah.
The Wolf. So you're like Dave Stone, the Wolf Man.
No, I'm just roaming
Very
now.
The wolf is
Yeah.
country, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Romy the Woodsman.
I let people know which songs Kenny Chesney is and is not singing.
That was not a Kenny Chesney song. Coming up next is a Kenny Chesney song.
I only know Faith
That would be a great
Thriller,
way to run
Kill
a
the Kid.
radio station. Like a Spice Girl song. That was not a Kenny Chesney song. Coming up next, also not. But stick around. Things could change.
It's coming up. What you been waiting for?
We actually just have it on shuffle. We have no clue what comes up. Top 40. From
Top 40.
Top 40, but from 3 years ago, we have a delayed license.
The thing I always disliked about radio, I have fun now because it's just part-time, going for a few hours, intro some songs,
Uh-huh.
and beer money appears in my account on occasion. It's like, oh, cool, I'm drinking tonight. Um,
Doesn't hurt.
you know, I could be saving or something, but you know.
Indeed.
Death first.
No bullet on stuff.
But I'm reminded of the fact that, like, in an emergency, they expect us to be like on hands deck and all this.
Uh-huh.
We used to have to be showing up in snowstorms to tell people to stay home.
It's like, you guys gotta come into work to tell people the most obvious thing in the world.
Foot of snow on the ground. I'm driving in with 2-wheel drive
Yeah.
in a car that I could only afford on a radio cell.
Dude, I tried to drive in my old Honda Civic and it just would fishtail everywhere. I'd go
Oh.
about 2 blocks and give up every time. Be like, nope, not dying for this.
And then I just announced all the places that were not open. And everybody who is working at those places is either called in to find out or knows the policy of the place you work at.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that poor bastard. I knew I wasn't going in.
Man, I do miss being a little kid in the early 90s and sitting by the radio or the TV in the kitchen that we
Ready for
had
your
the
school.
antennas on, and it was like school closings, Albemarle County closed, and I'd be like, okay,
Come on,
we'll get to
Well,
the
that's
A's.
close.
It'd be like Brunswick County closed. I'd be like, all right, Chesterfield, are we going to see it? And they'd be like, Chester County closed. I'd be like, all right. And they'd be like, Chesterfield. I'd be like, jump on. I
We
would
got to eat
freak-
cookie
But
dough.
sometimes it would go Chester County closed, Dinwiddie County closed, and I go, Mom, they didn't do it right. And she'd be like, well, you guys are going to school. There's no snow on the ground. I'd be like, but is it gonna snow? I would God, I would lose my shit as a little kid if it was supposed to snow and it didn't, because
Me
I was
too.
like, all right, snow day. My mom would be like, no, don't think that. Until like, I'd stay up all night playing NBA Jam, waiting for the snow to come. There was one night, it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sitting there playing NBA Jam. I keep looking out the window. I'd been up all night, still no snow, and I'm like, where's that fucking blizzard, man? Like, I stayed up all night. It's gonna suck. And then right before my alarm would have gone off, I see the first snowflakes fall, and then just a fucking... I almost said a mountain of snow, but that didn't really make sense. A blanket of snow falls over the next hour, and my mom was like, you can hang out. Well, you're definitely not going to school. And I was like, thank Christ. I used to stay up all night, sneak out with my friends to get high on school nights.
I was always on the fault line in North Carolina. Raleigh, Durham, Fuquay-Varina, even the next county, Benson, the next county up, all just slammed with snow. We'd get this, here's this line where the snow will just turn to pissy rain.
Yep.
And it's going to be cold as a motherfucker, but
34
you can't make
degrees.
angels with that shit.
Yep, it'll be 33 degrees for the next 7 days and straight rain. But everyone above you, covered with snow.
And they don't have to go to school.
Yeah.
Yeah. You still got that test?
Well, I
And
remember
it's going to be shitty by the bus stop.
in Virginia, like, or I guess it's through the whole South then, and like DC, like if a storm comes up from the south and it's cold enough, we'd get a bunch of snow. But if it came in from the west, it would hit the Blue Ridge Mountains and then dump a bunch of snow there, and
On the Shenandoah
and
River.
then the storms would always split. I remember this so well as a kid because I was so frustrated. I remember saying to my mom once, I was like, "Why the hell did you guys move us to here? Why not some other part of Virginia?" that gets snow, and she was like, we didn't think about that.
Honey,
But the
what's the snow
storms
cycle
would hit the
here?
mountains, and they would split into two, and it would go southern Virginia, and then up in D.C., and they'd get snow, and then central Virginia would get nothing, and I would fucking get so angry.
I would have the same fit. Why don't we live in Raleigh?
God damn, I was so goddamn frustrated with that. Nothing better than a fucking snow day. I remember once in 8th grade, though, I got so excited. I pulled my back in gym class in 8th grade, already like an old man by 13 years old. We were playing flag football, and I jumped up for a sweet fucking touchdown catch, and I caught it, and I got the touchdown, and then when I landed on my feet, my back went into spasms. And for the next 2 years, all my football coaches and stuff would just ignore me when I'd be like, no, like, I'm injured. Like, my back is like in tremendous pain, and they'd be like,
Quit bricking.
they would be
Go
like,
bricking.
they'd be like, somebody help me stretch for a few minutes, and I'd be like, no, I think I need like physical therapy.
Yeah, a doctor.
Yeah, like for
Something.
real. Like I think I need like a heating pad and like a stretching routine from a professional, not some other 13-year-old jacking my legs
Yeah.
up. Like we'd be like fucking cranking them. God damn.
Coach says you need stretching.
Yep. Fucking football practice is all about just kids that are in no way qualified to stretch each other out. Fucking bending each other in weird ways. God damn it. I remember some kids would try to hurt other kids while we were doing like group stretching. It's a weird, I don't know, these terms out of context sound really group stretching.
Yeah. Also, grab ass was known to go along when the stretches were happening.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I don't remember that from my team, but
He repressed those memories.
fucking football, man. Oh, there's the last one.
Last one's
you.
N Orange.
All right, it's all you.
Virginia.
You can have.
You're the guest.
Yeah.
The last two M&Ms go to the guest.
Shh.
And that's an
good to be
endorsement
a
of
guest.
Virginia by eating. Man.
Woo, woo, woo.
So before this, this isn't work related at all. But before the battery runs out, I wanted to get in
Sure.
that story about the hockey game. Let's pause it for a second here. Okay.
So hockey, you say?
Well, yeah. I might. Should we get this burning as well?
Absolutely.
The last little bit. Oh, can you do it while I
No.
chatter?
I refuse to light the joint.
So it was just because you were saying you were from Fayetteville that got me thinking about hockey earlier, and
Excuse me.
so I grew up with this dude named Matt, whose dad used to be the team dentist for the Richmond Renegades. Like he would have to be there during games in case people's teeth got fucked up.
Nice.
He had his own dental office as well, the regular shit, but he got paid extra to go do that. And I don't know if he traveled with them and shit as well. There's probably just like one person there.
That'd be fun.
I doubt that both teams have like traveling dentists. That'd be insane.
Yeah, we sold advertising to the official chiropractors of the Fire Ants.
Yep, gotta fix up them. Oh, this is a fantastically burning. Did you roll it yourself?
Of course I did.
You did a great job, Mark. What strain is it?
Thank you. Star Dog.
All right, Star Dog. I'll be freaking out in a minute.
In the Star family, have you tried One Star?
1 star now.
Found some of that over in the Dalles the other day.
It's a good name.
But I'm a 5-star man.
I'm a 5-star man.
It's kind of like DEF CON. The closer you get to 0, the more bomb it is.
Like carrots.
And then I went back in because I bought a gram of it when I was there before. I walked back in and said, I've hijacked the hockey story, but we'll get back to it.
Oh, no, you're good. We still got battery. We're fine.
But I walked in and I said, do you have any more of that OnStar?
People are always getting fucking
Get where I'm going,
strain
buddy.
names wrong, man.
And she said, you mean 1 star? I'm like, yes, 1 star. That's what I said.
I need a
And
direction to get there. That's
she
all
goes,
stuff.
oh, we don't have any flour left. We got down to the bottom of it. We have 3 pre-rolls. I'm like, wrap them up. But there were like 4 people ahead of me in line. I'm like, unless one of you fine people are here for a 1-star pre-roll, which is going to be 5-star, hey, call back when you leave. And nobody did. I'm like, wrap them up?
Man, people are always looking right at strain cards in dispensaries and saying, oh, looking at Tangy Biscotti and be like, oh, Tangy biscuits, and be like, all right, close enough at least. Ogre is...
At least they say tangy.
Yeah.
Everybody goes tangy.
Yeah,
and I'm
tangy,
like, what?
tangy,
And then I'm
I've
like, oh
heard
yeah,
of
okay.
Oh my god.
Goddamn, I've heard so many.
Tangy.
God,
Sour tangy.
I blanked on the...
Sounds
the first shop I worked at, we got a batch of Ogre, and I swear to God, 75% of our customers would look at it and go, what do you guys have a strain called Orgy for? And I'd be like, it's Ogre.
Because you're dyslexic, bitch.
And they'd look at it closer and be like, oh, like Shrek. And I'd be like, yeah, like
That's not how
Shrek.
you spell orgy, dickhead.
You got it. Like Shrek. It's not Orgy. We had Purple Dog Shit at one point that everybody would read that and then either laugh or be like, that's inappropriate. Because we had like older medical customers at my first house back when it was just
Oh
me.
yeah. Remember
God
dog
damn.
shit cherry pie?
Yep, that's one for sure. Gets people riled up. Alaskan
Thunderfuck,
Thunderfuck.
yeah, that was the next one.
But goddamn, I'm trying to think of others that are just like people cannot fucking wrap their heads around. Voodoo Child. Everybody would look at that and go, Voodoo Chile? And I'd be like, you're overthinking it. It's just Voodoo Child. It's like the Jimi Hendrix thing. They'd be like, well, that's Child. And I'm like, I didn't fucking name the strain, man. Just...
Or watching for now Skittles.
Oh my god. I get some of the Zeke.
I want some Z
Yeah,
Kittles.
Bro, Skittles. Come on.
Skittles.
Come
People will
on.
say Z Kittles or Z Skittles.
Mhm.
And I'm like, what are you doing the Z for at all if you're still going to say Skittles?
Z
Like,
Skittles.
nobody here cares, man. Just say fucking Skittles. Who cares? Like, they're not even supposed to say stuff like Gorilla Glue. I guess that's
Yeah.
like the trick, but like,
It's Gorilla Goon.
And Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
how did we keep Dosey Dough? Or are we just calling
Yeah,
it
We
Dosey
call it
now?
Dosey now. Yeah.
Just Dosey, that's right.
Oh.
Even though I still see Dosey dough, but they don't spell it the same. They write Dosey and then the word dough.
Oh, yeah. Guess they're getting around it. It's so fucking silly, all the little string. I mean, I
Or
guess.
Dosey Dose. I've seen
Some
as
of them,
well.
I guess, are like trademark names now that we're trying to be a legitimate subculture. We've got to accept some of these things.
Well, I had to go make a deposit at the Maps down in Salem or Woodbine, wherever that is. And I do drop checks in there occasionally. So the teller that I normally see is not the one waiting on me. And after I finish up, she goes, well, how was your 420? I'm like, fantastic. And I'm like, that's how it should be. That was just as much like me walking out of BB&T in North Carolina and somebody like, how was your Easter?
yeah, exactly.
I'm like, well, he is risen. And then there was ham.
We got high.
Well, being high is a good segue into this. Going back into the hockey story. Because what me and my friend Matt used to do is he would drive us, so he was usually sober. But I would drink a small bottle of white wine, which I don't know why I drank Riesling back then. I don't drink it all now, but that was my drink for like 2 years.
Yeah.
If that was
White
your
wine.
drink, you shouldn't drink.
Now they got real sexy about it.
Now if I hadn't like even 2 glasses of that, it's so sweet, I'd be like, I'm gonna fucking throw up.
Yep.
But I just don't like alcohol at all because it doesn't, like, once I'm drunk, I can't feel high.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how much weed I smoke. So I just stopped drinking altogether. A lot of people are like, good for you not drinking anymore. I'm like, it's just so I can do a different drug
Yeah.
better.
So I can be high better.
And mine.
Yeah.
That,
I didn't like waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning to throw up either. That was
that's not the best.
Yeah.
I'd rather
Weed-
just smoke a bunch of weed and eat.
Weed has never made me puke.
Nope.
Not once.
I know people that has made puke.
For sure.
But alcohol has betrayed me on numerous occasions.
Basically
Sometimes
every
not giving me enough warning to get out of my own way.
I don't know if I've already told this story on the podcast before, but I'm going to tell it again anyway. So, real quick side story talking about weed making people throw up. When I was in my senior year of high school, I had my parents were at Nag's Head for like a week, so I had a bunch. Nag's Head. He knows what I'm talking
I know.
about.
Sorry, okay, continue.
Nag's Head, North Carolina. And it's in the
Part
Outer
of the
Banks. It's a
Outer
great
Banks.
little beach town. And it's especially awesome during the winter because nobody's there and you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like my parents.
Chris Cox could firework his.
Yeah, shoot
ass.
fireworks off all fucking day, Chris Cox, if you want to. And you'd probably still manage to get
Hey,
arrested.
Chris Cox.
So this, I had a bunch of people over on New Year's Eve when my parents are out of town, senior year of high school, and a friend comes over, and she's drunk as shit. She immediately takes a bong hit, and then as she's blowing the smoke out, she just pukes everywhere. Have I already told the story?
No, I've just seen this happen many
She
times.
pukes fucking everywhere.
I've never been crossfaded. Smoking weed when I'm drunk makes me feel better. It doesn't fuck me up.
Oh,
more.
really?
Yeah.
God. When I was in like 9th and 10th grade, I would smoke weed and drink at the same time and get like so fucked up. It was awesome. But now I just can't.
I mean,
My
I can
body
get
can't
fucked
handle
up doing
anymore.
it, but it doesn't like make me feel sick or like.
But this
dizzy.
girl takes this bong hit. It's a gravity bong, by the
You're
way.
drunk
So
right now.
She takes a GB. As she comes up, blows the smoke out, and it's followed by just puking everywhere, all over the back porch. And then somebody like takes her home. She stumbles home. The next day, she calls me at like 11 o'clock in the morning. And she's like, "Tyler, I'm so sorry. I wanted to call and apologize." And I was like, "It's no big deal. You know, it happens." And she was like, "I just feel so bad that I never made it to your party. I promised you I'd be there." And I was like, "Oh, where? Are you apologizing for not showing up to my party?" She's like, "Yeah."
Wow.
I go, "Oh no, you came to the party." I thought you were apologizing for what you did when you were here. She's like, "What was that?" I was like, "Threw up everywhere." I was like, "It was fine. It was outside. We just sprayed it with a hose." But you know, good thing it wasn't inside my bedroom or some shit.
Oh, I
We used
thought
to
I
smoke weed there
dreamt
all the
that.
time. My parents would go out of town, and I would just be like, "Oh, my friend, let's all smoke weed in my bedroom. Like, not even blow it out the windows." My parents would be gone for 3 days, and they'd come back and be like, "The fucking house reeks of weed."
yeah.
And I'd be like, "No, it doesn't."
I can't smell it. I used to do that all the time. I remember I'd fucking go to the gas station and I'd be like, "I don't smell like weed. I smoke weed outside." There'd be like cops and shit. And I'm like, "What up, boys?" And then one time I went with my buddy and I hadn't smoked and he just reeked of fucking weed. And I was like, "Oh, this is what we smell like all the time." All right.
God damn.
I walk in. There's a pub in my neighborhood, and I'll walk in, and I'll get to the bar, and like somebody at the bar will be like, "You smell amazing tonight," because I'll be putting it out as I'm crossing the street to go into the bar. That's how my neighborhood is so laid back on weed. I was walking down the main little drag, and I'm smoking a joint, and I hear from a Suburban. Romy, I turn around and it's this bartender friend of mine from a spot, and I'm good, thank you. And her partner works for a spot that grows pretty well known brand, but I don't want to give any plugs out on the podcast. But I'll tell you guys off the air.
That's part of the secret stash.
Boom, secret stash.
That's any information. That's a new thing, I guess. Any information a guest gives us off air.
Oh,
But
off the record.
she goes, Romy,
In the file.
you want to smoke a joint? And I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm smoking a joint. I said, but I'll smoke your joint too. I climbed right in there and proceeded to smoke that joint. And then there's a spot in a neighborhood not too far away called the Barlow on Monday nights. I know you're vegan?
Vegetarian.
Vegetarian, okay. You would like the fried broccoli.
Oh, that sounds good.
But
Actually
if you do eat meat, Meat Mondays at the Barlow, it's a great prime rib dinner. Pretty
That sounds good too.
delish. So then they kidnapped me
good
after
boy.
getting me really high, and we went and ate prime rib.
That sounds
Oh, that
fucking
sounds
amazing.
It was fucking amazing.
Bro, there's this one
And
time
it was $20 well spent.
Oh, yeah.
when I worked at Auntie Anne's in high school, and I knew this kid Eric who sold me weed, and he also did mushrooms all the time. And there was one time I'm in the back of the fucking store washing dishes, 8:30 at night on like a Wednesday, and like I think on our Christmas break, and all of a sudden the back door of the store opens up. I expect it to be a coworker of mine, and it's fucking my high school friend Eric standing there, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And he was like, well, I saw when I walked through the food court that you were working, and like, dude, I really need your help right now. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? And he was like, so sneezing fit, sneezing fit, sneezing fit.
Let's talk chirpings.
So his pupils are big as shit when he's standing there, and I was like, so he had come through the back hallway of the mall to find the back entrance to Auntie Anne's to find me because he saw me in the front of the store and like saw me like walk into the back, so he knew he'd found a friend basically.
Yeah.
Because he was in the mall and he was losing his shit.
And so he grabbed the buddy system.
Yeah, because I
that's
think
well.
he was tripping on mushrooms because that's what he was always on.
Yeah.
Oh.
But, well, if he listens to this, he might be like, I wasn't always on mushrooms in high school, but it's
I
like,
was on meth sometimes. God damn
But
it!
I wonder if he even remembers this
That was-
fucking. Eric is his first name. I
Eric,
don't
you were
wanna
on
say-
mushrooms.
I was working my way through the M's.
So he's standing there, and I'm like, "What's up, dude?" He's like, "Dude, I was just driving through the mall parking lot because I just bought something at Best Buy, and like this mall security started following me, and they had that thing on top of their truck that can smell drugs in your car." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" It's this fucking like white orb that's on top of their trucks that like, dude, it's got these sensors in it and it's really sensitive and it can like pick up if your car has like
Holy
weed or any other
shit.
drugs in it. And I've been fucking driving around trying to lose them for like 15 minutes, but they've been following me. And like, dude, I just parked and then came in here and you gotta fucking help me out, dude. And I was like, alright, just sit here and eat pretzels, bro. And then my poor fucking manager, who's only like 1 year older than me, Catherine, she's like 17 while I'm 16. And
Shout out to Catherine.
Shout out to Catherine.
Hey, Kat.
And I have to like go. She was so cool with like me doing this sort of bullshit where I was like, "Hey, Catherine, so you know Eric from Monacan? Yeah, so he's
Yeah,
tripping
so-
on mushrooms in the back room right now, I think. So we're gonna let him chill.
Yeah, we're
back
just going to leave
there."
him alone. We're going to leave him
And
alone.
She's my manager. I'm just telling her like, so a friend is here on drugs and he is freaking out. So we're gonna give
just
him
needs
free
time to
pretzels.
chill, yeah.
And
What
you
he
just stay up here
needs.
and I'll stay back there.
We'll take care of this.
And I had to like drive him. He left his car in the mall parking lot.
Well, of course.
And I told him where to park it to make like the security think that he was an overnight worker because I knew like my boss had told me where not to park because it's for like the night cleaning crew. So I was like, just park here. Your car won't get towed. Actually worked.
Yeah.
And I drove his ass home. But I was like, as I dropped him off, he was like, "Dude, I can't go in my house right now. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, what if my parents talk to me?" I was like, "Well, they probably are."
Yeah.
Like, you should have prepared for that.
Play it cool,
Where do you want me to take
dickhead.
you other than this, man? But that motherfucker thought that the fucking mall security had such high-tech equipment that they could pick up the particles of weed wafting out of his car.
Oh, wait, so that
We
thing
have
wasn't real?
We have
Your mall didn't have a fucking weed-sniffing orb? Okay? Virginia sounds like the fucking Badlands. I don't
Was
know.
your mom not from the
We have
fucking far future?
we have to keep the citizens of Banana Republic safe.
Does the South not have sniffing orbs? Oh my god.
What the fuck, man? It's just it's a canine soul in an orb.
You can
That's
tell
it.
Donald
It's not
Trump
that
that
hard to
sniffing
extract
orbs
if you know the right
exist.
magics.
Somebody should tell him that sniffing orbs exist, and it'd be one day later he'd be on TV like,
Where are
"We've
the
got to
sniffing
get
orbs?"
the sniffing orbs on the border."
I've made orders to make the
Yes!
the wall's going to be taller to avoid the sniffing orbs.
I'm gonna try to refocus on this hockey story again, though.
So hockey.
So what we would do, the hard transition. Back to,
Hard turnaround. We had to
I
go
would
back.
get drunk as shit and smoke a bunch of weed, and we'd go to these hockey games. By the third period each time, I'd be like, dude, I gotta go to sleep. Like, I'd be so fucking just worn
We've
out.
all been there.
But, so we go one night. We got season tickets each year because his dad, for like 5 years in a row, because his dad was the dentist for the team. So he gets free season tickets. And like we said earlier, it's like minor league hockey. So
Yeah.
it's not like anything. Right?
But hockey's hockey.
Um,
It's fun to watch.
But there was this one dude who looked like a dinosaur that sat near us every game. Like
Chris Bosh.
his brow and nose together was this weird, like, kind of like round dinosaur thing. And then one day he brought his son with him, and we called his son Dinosaur Jr. And
Like the band. Like the band Dinosaur
still
Jr.
so proud of that joke.
Out on the floor.
We'd sneak Little Caesars pizza. We'd put Little Caesars pizza in the Ziploc bags in our jackets and take them into these hockey games and like
Oh,
pull
Little
them
Caesars
and like
is
because
delicious.
the pizza's so goddamn expensive at the Coliseum.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably not even. But we
No.
fucking buy 2 Little Caesar pizza. Fill
They
up
made
fucking just
$5
smuggle
for
in
2
fucking
pies.
cheese pizzas. Goddamn. So we go one night.
Wait, what are the statute of limitations
I'm
for bringing Little Caesars into the arena and snubbing the official pizza of the arena, Domino's and/or that racist Papa
Probably
John's,
probably
depending on what
Racist
year
Papa
it was.
John.
You know what? I think it was Papa John's.
They made a big stride there in
My
the
dad calls
90s.
them Paper Johns. I don't know
Paper
why.
John.
Because he just doesn't say anything correctly, and he thinks that's funny.
Paper
But
Johns.
if he hears this, probably like, you're the one that came up with Paper Johns.
There's a story here.
What was I gonna say? Okay, so we go one night. Like, I am fucked up, and we go to the Coliseum, and as we're approaching, we're decked out in our hockey gear. I've got, like, a jersey on, and, like, Matt's got on, like, fucking face paint and ridiculous shit like that. And as we're approaching, we're, like, noticing there's a lot of kids around. And, like, it's a really, like, festive atmosphere that's not really usually around the fucking hockey game. So he turns to me and he's like, it must be like Cub Scout night or some shit. There's so many kids here. Or maybe like, maybe like local elementary schools. And we're like, all right, yeah.
Like a field trip or something.
So we walk up to the woman taking tickets. We hand her our tickets. She looks us up and down wearing our hockey shit. Doesn't say a goddamn word. Tears our tickets for us. Kind of gets this weird look on her face, but lets us in. Walking around, and then I noticed there's lots of kids with like cotton candy, which they usually don't have there, and they got like the glowing necklaces on and like glowing swords, and I'm like, yeah, definitely some sort of fucking kids night going on. What the fuck is happening here?
I know what's happening. I'm in the future.
So
I have a prediction.
we fucking yeah. Whisper. Let's see. Have you
Go
heard
on.
this story before?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Go on.
Oh,
Not
this
that
is
I
one of my
remember.
favorite nights of my entire fucking life. So, there's all the kids just in weird glowing shit, got their glowing little lightsabers and shit like that walking around, and I'm so baffled by this, and I'm kind of perturbed, if that's the right use of that word, that's going to be so kid-centered tonight.
Yeah,
That the
that's
hockey
good
game is going to
usage
be
of
all
the word.
about these fucking kids. So I go into the bathroom. Dads are looking at me weird too. Like parents are giving me strange looks. I'm in my hockey shit, walking around by myself with my drink. I'm obviously fucked up. I've got to be. I got to
Yeah,
smell like weed
you're
and
probably a
white
little
wine.
wobbly and a little
I
confrontational.
go in the
looking.
bathroom to pee, and I come out, and my friend Matt is standing there, and he's got his hands in his hair, and he's just laughing, and he goes, "Dude, I've got to show you something." And the way the Coliseum is set up. It's like you walk in the first doors, and then there's a circle, like a big circle that's where all the concessions are, and then the actual center in there. So then there's the second set of doors that lead you into the actual like arena.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Follow me," and he's like, he's got this big smile on his face. He's like, "Gotta show you this," and he grabs two doors where we usually have our seats, and he pulls them open. And it's just opens up into the Coliseum, and there's all these lights going crazy everywhere. And in the center, where I'm used to seeing the pregame show, there's a man with a top hat and a whip whipping the air, and there's 5 horses dancing around him in a circle. Like legit, the horses aren't. The horses are like doing this little like. I know you can't see it on the podcast.
Actually, I'd like to amend my answer.
I got you.
I'm gonna talk to you. So he does this weird little horsey trot thing, and I look down at this, and I look back at my friend Matt, and I went, "They changed the pregame show?" And he goes, "No, you fucking idiot. It's the circus."
Do you see ice? God damn.
And all of it it was like reality completely shifted for me.
But hold on, didn't you guys buy hockey game tickets?
We had season tickets, which they sent us like 3 months in advance.
Okay.
So they had changed a night where one of the hockey games had been moved because they were having the circus instead.
Oh.
We apparently never got that
the
memo.
memo.
So we showed up that night. And I'm standing there, and I swear, when I looked down and saw that dude whip in the air and saw the horses going around, I thought that they had replaced the NASCAR opening that the fucking hockey games usually had. Where a NASCAR would come out and do a lap around the ice, and then they would do a quick, like, change of the tires. 4 teams would change tires real quick and see who did it the fastest, and then whoever won got a $200 gift certificate to Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever.
Hell yeah.
And, yeah, so... I fucking legit thought that the hockey team's new pregame show was horses dancing.
Like horse dancing, yeah.
Yeah. So we go and sit in our seats.
Romy got the answer, by the way.
Yeah. He knew exactly.
I thought the next phrase was, so then I start smelling elephant shit. And I'm like, weird, hockey night, elephant shit.
It was definitely the glowing necklaces
really
that
hurt.
I think set it off for you. That's when your face lit up
Yeah.
and you seemed to know exactly what the fuck was going on.
Well, that goes back to the whole radio. I used to, every year when Ringling Brothers would come to town, I would have to do a night out there of MC work or something with the live. So it's like, oh, I can smell this right now. I know what this event is.
Yeah.
And then when you started saying the horses, I thought, oh wait, could be Lipizzaner Stallions. That's also another traveling show
I got
that had some lights and stuff, but not as kid
It
centric.
was straight up circus. And so we go and we sat in our seats. We're quickly told that somebody else had tickets for those seats.
Uh-huh.
So then we went up to some upper level seats. And, like, I remember this clown coming out and doing an act that was so ridiculously unfunny and just not entertaining at all that I was like, people
about
still pay to watch this shit? It was my first time at the circus, total accident. And then the next thing that came out was the dude that just fucking whips lions and tigers, basically. This dude
Yeah.
comes out, and I'm high as shit and drunk, and, you know, Mr. Animal Rights.
Are you
shit, so
heckling him?
I started booing my ass off. And then my friend Matt starts booing with me, and then there's this, like, young black dude next to us with his, like, 2 little girls and his wife, and he starts laughing at us, and then he just starts going, boo! And then his little girls start booing, and then event staff comes over and fucking shines a light at us, and he's just like, he just starts looking forward, and I'm like, oh, that's us, and he's like, guys, what do you guys do? Show us your tickets, and I'm like, we're leaving.
Yeah.
And then fucking got
We're
up
done
and
here.
fucking walked out. So as we're leaving the Coliseum,
Let us in.
as we're leaving the Coliseum, we go out the smoking exit doors where you're just supposed to stand right there in a little smoking patio and then walk back in, but it's not a regular exit. But we just walk right out of that because, you know, we're leaving. It's the
fucked up.
closest
Yeah.
thing. So this security guard sees us, who's standing right by this little smoking exit, and he's like, hey, you can't exit through here. You can't walk off the smoking patio. And he's like, if you walk off the smoking patio, you're banned from the Coliseum for the night. And we were like, yeah, we're leaving. And he goes, no, you got to come back in and exit through another door. And I was like, so if we keep walking, we're banned from coming back in, but you want us to come back in and
So
walk
we
out
can
through a
leave.
different door. And so I just kept walking while this guy kept fucking jawing at us, being like, you got to come back in and leave through another door. I was like, dude, we are already...
We're leaving.
There's not even like a
We're
fence
on the
we're
path,
walking
yeah.
past. There's no little rope or anything we're stepping over. It's just an open space, and we're just walking away from it. And my friend Matt, being a smartass, he turns back to this guy and he keeps going, well, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. And the guy keeps walking closer and closer to him. And Matt waits until the door closes behind him. So he can't get back into that spot. And then Matt turns and goes, Tyler, run! And he fucking takes on, and I'm high and drunk and shit, so it's a blast for me. And Matt sprints past me, and I turn and take off running with him. The dude chased us for probably the first 5 to 10 seconds, and then you just heard the footsteps stop, and you look back, and he's like walking back to the game. I'm like, what am I going to chase these
I'm
guys
not
to the
coming off the
fucking
premises.
city?
I'm
For
going to take
leaving.
this ain't cops.
Yeah.
I'm going to take down 2
God
kids.
Paid hourly. Fuck you.
Tyler, run! God damn. Oh, all right. This thing's flashing with the battery, so we better wrap it up. But that was 53 minutes. Not
Oh,
bad.
we did
Not
it.
bad. We did it. That's episode 4, we think.
That's
Yeah.
what I heard earlier.
Dope break. Dope.
Joint
Thank
break.
you.
Joint
Anything? Anything you want to plug? Band
Third
stuff?
Thursday at Slim's in St. John's, North Portland, Lombard. My band Moon Cabbage plays there. I usually have a featured guest as well. Somebody who's a local singer-songwriter from our open mic crowd over there.
Dope.
So, third Thursday, Slim's, big drinks, cheap drinks, and good food.
Great music.
Oh, and Moon Cabbage,
And
my
Moon-
band
Moon
at
Cabbage!
at Moon Cabbage on Facebook. We've got 147 followers, and we're damn proud of that.
Oh,
We have
yes.
149 after tonight. All right. Thanks for listening. to
Thank you,
Joint
Rami.
Break.
Joint break.
Thanks.
Good break.